and welcome back, students. After a long time, I, Jayashree Dutta, is back again for all of you with your English grammar lessons. Let's start with a very fresh and important topic today, that is tenses. Now the question is, why is it essential? Because in every step you need this whenever we speak or write. If you see the ICC question paper, you will find that there a separate question is allotted for tenses. Fill in the blanks with the correct form of verbs. Your knowledge for tenses should be absolutely clear. So, I'll explain the tenses part by part and it will be easier for you to understand. So students, you must know that the word tense is derived from the Latin word tempus, which actually means time. We use verbs in various forms to express time. In order to understand tenses, we have to know what are verbs. You must have seen my earlier videos where I have taught the different forms of verbs like am, is, are, was, were, has, have and had. Now, this verb is the integral part of tenses. The most important thing that should be kept in mind to understand tenses is verbs. So we can say that tenses is directly related to verbs. In other words, a verb also tells us about the time of action. If some action is happening at the present moment or happens every day, then it is the present tense. Yes, we are dealing today with the present tense. So let's start with tenses. Now this tense of a verb shows the time when an action is done. We use verbs in various forms to express time. Now what is tenses? You all try to understand and pay attention.
Here, the first person, here you see there are three persons. The first person, second person and third person. For first person singular, we are using the pronouns as I and we. For second person, the pronouns which we are using is you. You know, for singular and plural, we use both you. And for third person, the pronouns which we are using here is he, she, it, they, or any names. And the verb which is used here is write. Now see here the first row. For first person, we are using the verb as write, not writes. We also write. We write. Then for second person, you write. And for plural, you write, not writes. But for third person, with he, she and it, we are using he writes, she writes or it writes. But for plural, we are using they write. Now look at this exercises. Here you have to choose the correct verb. See the first one. This dog can dash through a ring of fire. Now the correct verb which we will use here is jump. Number 2. The waiter dash food to us. And the correct verb is serves. Then third sentence is the teacher dashes painting. The correct verb for this sentence is teaches. Then number 4, they dash talking while eating food. The correct verb for this sentence is dislike. Then number 5, we dash one another. The correct verb for this sentence is help. Then for number 6, my mother dash the clothes. The correct verb here is used as washes. Then number 7, the nurse dash after the patients. The correct verb is looks. Then the last sentence is number 8, he and I dash tennis. The correct verb here is play. Now, this is another table where you remember the first for the to show that a verb is in the present tense, we either use the verb as it is or add an s or es to it. Now here the verb which we are using is sleep with first person singular. I sleep, but we sleep. Yes, singular and plural both will be sleep. And for second person singular and plural, you know, it will be you only, and the verb is sleep. He sleeps, she sleeps, but for plural they sleep. In the second row, the verb which is used here is eat. So with I eat, we eat. You eat, he eats, she eats, they eat. Then the third row, the verb used here is do. I do, we do, you do, he does, she does, they do. Now in the fourth row, the verb used here is go. So I go, we go, you go, he goes, she goes, they go. Now to show that a verb that ends in a y is in the present tense, we either use the verb as it is or usually drop the final y and add ies to the verb. Now look at these words here. I cry, we cry. You cry, he cries, she cries. They cry. And the second row, I try, we try, you try, he tries, she tries, they try. Now here you can see the word is ending with y, and when we are doing it for the third person singular, see here it's the spelling becomes CRIES. We are removing the y and adding IES here. Then for tries also, tries the verb is try, and when we are doing it in third person singular, it is he tries, she tries, and the spelling becomes TRIES by removing the y and adding IES with try. Then look at these sentences which are used in simple present tense. These are the regular actions. He comes to school by bus. She likes ice cream. Now these are all the regular actions. Regularly they do it. Then the third sentence, Janki dances gracefully, means usually Janki dances gracefully. Rahul drinks milk in the morning, means every morning he drinks milk. It's a regular practice. Ashima skips rope every morning. This is also a regular practice for her. And the verbs drinks, skips, comes, likes, then dances and drinks, they're all showing the actions that happen in the present time. They are in the present tense. Now, in these sentences, the verbs tell us whether an action happens regularly or talks about people in general. These verbs are said to be in the simple present tense. Now, for these sentences, we use the simple present tense to show that an action happens regularly or often. We use words like always, usually, sometimes, generally, or every day to speak about such actions. For example, he plays football every evening. Then I take my pet for a walk every day. And the third sentence, I often help my mother to make breakfast. The verbs here is place, take, and help. Now we use the simple present tense to talk about generally accepted truths or facts. For example, the sun rises in the east, monkeys love bananas, the earth revolves round the sun. Then the simple present tense is used to express a habitual action or a general truth. Now see for these sentences, eagles fly in the sky. This is a habit of an eagle to fly in the sky. And then honesty is the best policy. So this is the general truth that honesty is the best policy. Now look at these sentences in simple present tense. We use the simple form of the verb with the pronouns I, we, you and they. Look at these examples. I sing well, we work in a bank, they run very fast, you help Tanish with his homework. Then we use the S form of the verb with singular nouns, the pronouns he or she and it, or in case of a singular subject. For example, she sings very well, Bina runs every morning, the tortoise moves very slowly. Now the verbs ending with ch, sh, x and o usually take an es when used with singular nouns and the pronouns he, she and it. For example, he brushes his teeth twice a day, and the verb here is brush. My father reaches his office early. The verb is reach here. And the third sentence, she washes the clothes in the evening. The verb is wash here. Now for verbs ending with y, which I have already discussed before, but I am saying this in sentences. The verbs ending with y, we drop the y and add an I and es when we use them with the pronouns he, she and it and singular nouns. For example, a porter carries heavy loads. The verb is carry here. Then my little brother cries a lot. The verb is cry here. She always tries hard. The verb in this sentence is try. Now, children, note that for some verbs that end in Y but have a vowel before it, we just add an S when we use them with he, she, and it. For example, the baby enjoys the music. Then he stays with his aunt. Now you can see the vowels. You know the vowels A, E, I. Then the see here the vowels are written in blue, and before Y the vowels are placed here, and it is given it is, see, after Y we are adding only S, not IES, like enjoys, stays. Okay.
So students, I think this is enough for you to understand present tense. Here I end my class. Bye bye. See you in the next class.